Mitch Landry.
Good morning. There is no more fitting place to lay this spectacular man to rest than the St. Louis Cathedral. And so, while I am sad to be here on this occasion, it is in many ways a gone home ceremony, and as Beverly said, in some ways a joyful day. Before I begin, I do want to offer condolences on behalf of Governor and Mrs. Edwards and the other statewide elected officials who could not be here today because of the catastrophic flooding that we have had across the state of Louisiana. And I would ask everybody here to keep all of our fellow Louisianians in their thoughts and in their prayers. Many people who live here know what that is like, and my full expectation and my hope is that the people of New Orleans are going to do everything they can to reach out to our fellow Louisianians in their time of need to help them. And so I commend that to you. And Beverly, on behalf of the governor, he sent a proclamation, so I want to give that to you on their behalf. To the family members who are with us today, to the kids, to the grandchildren, to all of the friends and extended family, you know, we come to celebrate the life of this spectacular guy. Now, I know I'm in the St. Louis Cathedral, but I do want to tell this little bitty story. I can't remember a time in my life that B.Fountain wasn't present. When I was a little boy, my daddy used to drag me around, and he took me to the club on Bourbon Street. I watched he and Jumbo play. I was at the Hilton. I used to stand on St. Charles Avenue because I'm a street rat when Mardi Gras comes around. And I remember telling my mom, I really want to get there early so I can see Mr. Pete and the half-ass walking club. I think I was about 8. And she said, son, it's not the half-ass walking club. She said, it's the half-fast walking club. Mr. Pete's a really good musician. They just walk slow. When I talked to Benny shortly after Pete's passing, he told me, he said, you know, he left us, and it was a very peaceful going away, but he died at 5:13. He said, and if I could, he said, I would change that to 5:04, because God would know where the call is coming from. And as I sit here today and I think about who he is and where he came from and what he did, I always think about what the city of New Orleans through its people have to offer the world, and there is no better person to have done this throughout his life through music than Pete. I was reading one of the articles in the paper that talked about how he actually picked up the clarinet, and that the doctor said it would help him fill up his lungs. And it just occurred to me that he blew the clarinet to fill up his lungs, but he's been blowing that clarinet to fill up the soul of New Orleans since the beginning of his time. And how fitting it is that that was the instrument that he chose, because he spoke with it so well. In one of the articles, Tim said that every note he played, it sounded like he played with a smile. And that was always true about him for those of us that had the great joy to know him personally and to be with him. If you think about it, for every musician in New Orleans, there's this great conflict to stay or to go. How you can actually do the thing that you love and still be able to eat and still be able to be happy. Herman knows this, every musician that we talk about. Pete found a way to do both. You see, he used his talent. He used that little gleam in his eye that he had, that little mischievous spirit, to bring the city of New Orleans to the rest of the world. He did that when he played in Vegas. He did that when he played on the Johnny Carson show. He did that when Lawrence Welk found him and brought him there. But he also found a way to bring the world to the city of New Orleans, because he was rooted here in his family. He was rooted here in his neighborhood. As I was reminded a little bit earlier, he's an Eagle, Warren Easton, and he walked the streets. He actually kind of told his teacher, you know, I'm playing down in that club and I'm kind of making more money than you, so I guess I'm a professional now. Only he He did. Guy like him, especially with the signature song, and he had many of them, and you're going to hear a little bit later today from Tim, Just a Closer Walk with Thee. Where is the greater pinnacle in your life than to play that for the Holy Father in New Orleans, on New Orleans soil, when the rest of the world is watching? It might get more fun than that, but it doesn't really get any better than that. And there are only a few people in the world that can ever do something like that, and he was the kind of person that could actually make that happen. And so I would just say to you, as we think about life without him, and think about the soundtrack that's in your mind, you can hear it every day, the melodies, how he started songs, how he ended songs, the songs that he played, that you remember that music for him was just a pathway. And it was a pathway for giving back. You see, there are people who are great musicians, but they don't give back. There are people that are not great musicians that are good showmen. It's really hard to find someone that is a great musician, technically, soulfully, spiritually, and that has a big heart. And I think the thing that we all know about Pete was that he was a musician, a wonderful person, a wonderful husband, father, grandfather, but essentially he was a great New Orleanian with a great heart who gave more than he got. And in that way, he is a perfect New Orleanian, and he's the imperfect ambassador for who we are and what we are as a people. So, Beverly, I just want to, on behalf of the people of New Orleans and on behalf of a very, very grateful city, tell you that I know that you will miss him forever, but this city will too. He is irreplaceable. He is one of a kind. There will never be another like him. And we just give you our greatest thanks. And to Pete, we bid you farewell. God bless you all, and thank you so much.
With WIS-TV, and while music was certainly Pete's message throughout his long career that began playing on Bourbon Street at 15 going on 16, it is also fitting to hear from Pete himself in his own words. Over the years, we at WIS